Today, I'm going to be showing you guys my favorite car from each and every automotive manufacturer. Let's go. I've got the laser pointer on because it's my favorite thing about Google Slides. Laser pointer. I love it. So, this is in complete alphabetical order. So, without any further ado, let's get going, shall we? First up, the Acura Legend. I really like this car just because it's simple. It's cheap speed. It's cheap modifications. You can modify this car however you want. Although I've never really seen a modified Acura Legend, but it's still a pretty cool car. I like it. Next up, Alfa Romeo 8C. And this is one of those cars where I have a hot take to go along with it. And this hot take may or may not get me canceled in the car community. So let's go. I believe that the 8C is the best car that Alfa Romeo has ever made. And I'm saying that like I say that completely in all seriousness. This is my honest opinion. It is the best car that they've ever made. I'm ready to get canceled now. Next up, Aston Martin V12 Vantage. The V12 Vantage is a beautiful car. It is without a doubt the coolest car they've ever made. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, what about the 177? What about the Bulldog concept? What about the Virage? The uh, the 707 or the DBX? I don't give a fuck about all those DB models. The V12 Vantage, where it's at for me. I like this one a lot. It's cool. Plus, these wheels really just add to the cool factor of this car. Moving on, Audi RS6 Avant Tribute Edition. We can ignore the Tribute Edition, but I felt like I had to just because of this specific car that is shown here in this picture. Because this is a tribute. This is a tribute edition. It was finished in Nogaro Blue, as they call it. And the tribute edition is kind of a callback to the RS2 that came in the 90s, and it was the first ever Audi RS model as we know it today. Man, the RS6 in general is such a badass car, and I really want one. Next up, the Bentley Turbo R. The Bentley Turbo R is another one of those examples of cheap luxury. Because these are worth, like, I want to say, like 5 grand. Maybe even like, they're under 20 grand on a good day. Yeah, these are not valuable anymore, considering they were upwards of $100,000 when they were new. Crazy. But yeah, I really like the way that these older Bentleys look a lot. They're really cool. Next up, the BMW 740 Active Hybrid. Yeah. Can you tell I like Rafael Montez on TikTok? Yes, I do. I included this right there. Yeah. Yep. Can you tell? This one was kind of a little bit of a joke, but at the same time, I do really like this one a lot. It's cool. Next up, Buick GNX. This is probably my most controversial Buick opinion ever. The GNX is the most badass and coolest car they've ever made. Next up, Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. This car is incredible. It is one of the last naturally aspirated um, manual transmission sedans that's ever going to exist. They do not exist ever. Most engines nowadays have some kind of turbocharge or some kind of like turbocharger, supercharger, um, and things like that on them. With this, no turbochargers, complete or no superchargers, no turbochargers. It's completely naturally aspirated. It's all that power. Just yeah, it's it's honestly one of the most beautiful sedans of like the last 5 years. It is, and I wouldn't really, I wouldn't have it any other way because this is a gorgeous car, especially when in this gorgeous blue color. Next up, Chevrolet Corvette C6 ZR1. Can you tell I like blue? Yeah, whatever. Anyways, this is my favorite Corvette generation. I This is a gorgeous car, especially in this blue color and in the ZR1 package. Such a beast of a car. This is the most badass Corvette ever because it was the first one with, I believe, over 600 horsepower. Crazy, right? Next up, Chrysler Prowler. It's very unique, very weird. Now, most of the interior bits were all just part sharing or just the results of part sharings and things like that. The exterior styling is nothing like you've ever seen on the road, but interior seats, buttons, plastic pieces, things like that. Steering wheel, it's all part sharing. They didn't even bother to develop individual like buttons and pieces and things like that for the interior for this car. The engine isn't even a unique thing for this car. It's just straight up ripped from another car. Like, yeah. I mean, that's just Chrysler at its finest. And that's just 90s Chrysler at its finest, part sharing galore. Yep. Next up, the Dodge Magnum. Dodge Magnum is a very, weird car. It's a Charger based wagon that almost no one bought. You barely ever see them. And they sold these in Mexico as the Chrysler 300C Touring, and sometimes even across the Atlantic Ocean in Europe. In some countries they did, but in very few quantities, in very limited quantities over there. But in Mexico, these were actually pretty popular, from what I've heard. And you still see them sometimes over there. And I actually saw one years ago that was badged as a Chrysler 300C Touring. I believe it was probably just someone who wanted theirs to look like it because I live all the way up in the Northeast United States, and it was probably just someone who just really wanted a Chrysler 300C Touring and was mad they couldn't get one in the States, so they decided to buy a Dodge Magnum and badge it as the Chrysler. Yep, probably exactly what happened. Because ain't no way someone's driving all the way from Mexico to Maine. Ain't no way. Mm-mm. Next up, the LaFerrari. This is by far my favorite Ferrari of all time. It is a very cool car. Yeah, it's cool. Next up, the Fiat 500 Abarth. And this little note says this is the only good car that they've ever made. And that is very, very true. Yeah. Yeah. Next up, Ford Mustang GT convertible in 2007. And specifically in this color with those wheels. Because it's identical to the same one my grandfather bought back in 2007. Yep, it's identical. Next up, Genesis G90. The G90 is it's essentially just Korea's answer to the Toyota Century, basically. Except Genesis actually sells the G90 here in the States, while Toyota doesn't even bother selling any of their Centuries in the States at all. So yeah. Plus, it just looks really good. I like this one. Next up, GMC Jimmy. The GMC Jimmy is a very weird car. It was basically just a badge engineered or rebadged Blazer, I believe, from the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. Next up, Honda Insight. I don't know what you're thinking, but dude, what about the NSX? What about the Preludes? Who cares about the Preludes? Insight's where it's at if you want to be fuel efficient. If you want to be a good fuel efficient driver, Insight is where it's at. Next up, the Hyundai Equus. This was This was like 10 years ago. This was also Korea's answer to the Century, basically. Except it was very poorly received here in the States. Very poorly received. Nobody bought it. And they also had like this ultimate package that you could get that made it like I guess super luxury to Korean standards. And almost nobody opted for that. You almost never see the Equus Ultimates ever. But when you do, consider yourself lucky because it's probably the only time you'll ever see one. Yeah. Even the richest people in like Beverly Hills didn't want it because it's a Korean car, or it's just a Hyundai. Like they don't want a luxury car that has a Hyundai badge on the. Well, it doesn't actually have a Hyundai badge. They actually made their very own badge specifically for the car, for the Equus, and but the thing is, people knew it was a Hyundai, so they didn't want it. Next up, the Infiniti G37. I am a little aware that this image was you like kind of I guess upscaled with AI, I guess, because the wheels look a little off-ish, but still, it's pretty clear. Yeah. Anyways, the G37 is the official car of takeovers, and I will not be taking any more questions. Moving on. The Jaguar XKR convertible. This is the most gorgeous car since the E-Type, and yeah, most gorgeous car that Jaguar has made since the E-Type, and it is very, very pretty. The Jeep CJ7 Renegade. Can you tell that I have taste and that I know ball? Yeah. hmm I have taste. These are very cool. Kia Soul. The only reason why this is on here is because my dad had one years ago. He hated it, but I kind of liked it. So, yeah. Next up, Lamborghini Aventador. This is by far the coolest Lamborghini that they've ever made. And, yeah, I'm not willing to change my opinion on this. I mean, look at these doors. They go up. Hell yeah. Can you tell me that's not cool? Next up, Land Rover Freelander. Yeah. I don't really know why this was on here. I couldn't think of any other Land Rover that I really liked other than this one. Because literally every other Land Rover that has ever been made is just the official car of Beverly Hills or Pacific Palisades. Or maybe even Bel Air. It's the official car of rich people in Florida. Or people everywhere. Because rich people, they love Land Rovers for some reason. And G Wagons too, for some reason. I don't understand. This is like the only non rich person Land Rover that's ever been made. I don't get it. Why did the rich people not like this one? It's still a Land Rover. Like, no, go to Street View or go on Google Street View on in Beverly Hills or just anywhere in California. You'll see a plethora, a massive amount of Land Rovers. You'll see them everywhere you go. Down residential streets, commercial streets, Beverly Hills. You'll see them everywhere. Crazy. And not one of those will be a Freelander. Moving on. Lexus LC500H. This is by far the best Lexus ever made. The LC500 did right what the LFA could not. The LFA does not look good. The LC500 does look good, and it's it's just cooler in every single way. Yes. Next up, Lincoln Blackwood. Do I even need to explain myself here? No, moving on. Lotus Evora GT. Yeah, this is a very interesting one because this is another one of those cases where I couldn't pick a favorite, so I just picked a random one. And it just so happened to be the Evora GT. I don't really have a reason for this one. I just couldn't pick a favorite, so I just picked this one. Now, this one, the MC12, the Maserati MC12, is a very, very rare car. In case you have no idea what this is, it is a Maserati, obviously. The MC12 was based on the Ferrari Enzo platform, which I did not actually realize until a few years ago when Doug DeMuro actually uploaded a review of one. Yeah. And it shares the powertrain, but it's tuned down a bit, so it doesn't make nearly as much power as the Enzo, but it's still just as badass, and it's even rarer than an Enzo. Only 50 road-going units of the MC12 were ever made, and over 400 Enzos were ever made. So, yeah, it, the MC12 is by far a lot rarer than an Enzo. It's so much cooler, too. So fucking cool. Next up, the Mazda Tribute Hybrid. Can you tell I like rare versions of normal cars? Can you tell? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys can tell just by watching this video. But the Mazda Tribute Hybrid, or the Mazda Tribute as a whole, was based on the Ford, I believe the Escape of the time. And yeah, because Mazda had a stake in Ford, or Ford had a stake in Mazda. It's one of those. It's I don't remember exactly who had a stake in who, or whatever. I don't really remember that. But one of the companies had a stake in the other, and they were like, you know what? Why don't we make a version of your car? Why don't we make two different versions of your car, one with your badge and model, and one with this one? So yeah, there's a lot of examples of that actually, including there's some recent ones like all the General Motors EVs. They're all sharing the same platform, because duh. And the Acura ZDX, the new one, and the Honda Prologue are all based on the same platform. I don't remember exactly what the platform codename is called, but it's still interesting. But yeah, the Master Tribute Hybrid is very, very cool to me. Or just the Tribute in general is just cool to me because you never see them. Yes, the McLaren F1. One of the most legendary cars in the history of the automobile. It is no, there's no doubt in my mind, or in your mind and my mind alike, that every kid, or every person who was once a kid and into cars has ever dreamed of owning one of these. Of course, everyone has dreamed of owning one of these at one point because it's it's like a mythical. It's a mythical car. It's it's and the best way I can put this is like it's comparing it to like mythical Pokemon basically. It's like you never see a mythical Pokemon in a game, and unless it's like a very special occasion, and that's kind of the same thing with the McLaren F1. You never see these unless it's at like some um like super special event like the Wynn like the Las Vegas Concours at the Wynn Hotel, or Monterey Car Week, or any concours events across the world. And even then, usually there's only like one there, or maybe even in a very good day, there's two. But even then, one is basically the maximum you'll ever see throughout the entire event. But that would be perfectly fine because seeing one is like a one in a million chance, because you're probably never gonna see that one again. You're never gonna see one again. You're never gonna see one again ever, because only 100 of these were ever made, and they're usually all in like super private collectors or private collections who choose to not make public what kind of cars they own. Although Rowan Atkinson, he crashed his twice. Yeah. He was very public about the fact that he owned one. But if you crash it twice, chances are you shouldn't be allowed to have it. Yeah. Crashing one of these is like probably going to be one of the most talked about news stories, or like automotive news stories, for like the next month before people finally shut up about it, because they're like, oh my god, I can't believe that X person actually crashed their McLaren F1. Yeah. Anyway, I've spent way too much time on the McLaren F1. Let's move on to the Mercedes Maybach 52, or 62. Yeah. The Maybach 62, it was said to have been based on the same platform as the S-Class, yet it shared no components with the S-Class. Yet it failed because people said it looked too much like an S-Class. And I can see why. I can understand why. The wheels look identical to an S-Class wheels of the time, and the individual headlights, they're surrounded by circles. The S-Class had individual circles on each side for the headlights. That is how people thought it was an S-Class. But, and yeah, so no one really bought them. And I'm assuming right next to it is a 57. A Maybach 57 as well, which were the two different Maybach models that were available at the time. So, moving on. I had to do the Doug DeMuro thumbnail for this because I couldn't find any better pictures of the mini club van. Now, fun fact about this one: only 50 of these. Shut up, Norton. Anyway, only 50 of these made it to the States before exportation of these to the States stopped because of the chicken tax. Yep. The chicken tax is what stopped any more of these from coming into the States, and only 50, yes, 50 of these ever came to the States. And Doug managed to track one down at his local mini dealer and review it. And these are very cool too. And next up, the Mitsubishi i-MiEV. These are terrible cars, but I like them because they kind of have a bit of charm to them. It looks like if an egg had a love child with a golf cart. Those are the words of Doug DeMuro yet again, because he reviewed one of these a year ago, and he said that in the video. And it's true. It does look like the love child of an egg in a golf cart. It really does. I mean, just look at this thing. It's like an egg and a golf cart. Exactly. Moving on, Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet. And then we move on to cars that no one asked for. And that would be the Murano Cross Cabriolet. Literally no one asked for this. They unveiled it as a concept in the late 2000s, and production began in 2009 or 10, I believe. And yeah, no one bought it because they didn't ask for it. But of those who bought it, how's ownership going? If you own a Murano Cross Cabriolet and you're watching this video, what do you think of it? Do you think it's cool? Do people often notice what you're driving when you're... Do you get awkward stares when you're driving down the road and people pass by? Do you get... Cause this is a genuine question. I want to know. Do you get awkward stares when driving down the road? Haha. Yeah. Moving on. Polestar 2. The Polestar 2 is by far the coolest electric Volvo. And I say Volvo because it basically is a Volvo, because Polestar is a sub-brand of... it's a sub-brand of Volvo, and it's very cool. I'm excited to see what new Polestar models come out in the future. Like, what are they going to come out with in the future? I'm excited for it. And then we move on to Porsche and the Carrera GT. I absolutely love this car. And it just so happens that I'm filming this on the 12-year anniversary of Paul Walker's death. And this, of course, is the very car that sadly killed him. Yep. Moment of silence. Alright, that's enough silence. Anyways, the Carrera GT is just a beautiful car. And I've always wanted one. Ever since I was a kid and found out about its existence, I've always wanted one. And they're just so cool to me. Also very dangerous if you're not careful. If you're careful with it, then it won't kill you, or it won't try to kill you anyways. But if you're aggressive with it purposefully to try and kill yourself, don't do that. Next up, Rivian R1T. Rivian is a very anticipated, a very, I don't know what's the word here. I want to say not storied because they just started 5 years ago. I don't know what the word is here. Very cool. They're very fledgling right now, but they're still just, they make the coolest electric vehicles ever, and they're so cool, so unique. They're unlike anything you'll ever see because they have this thing in the bag here in the truck version, the R1T, called the gear tunnel, and it's openable on both sides, and you can just stick long, thin things in there. Mm, that's what she said. God. Oh God, no. Anyways, you can stick long, thin things in there if you want it to stay secure. It's lockable as well, which is very cool. And plus, the styling of this thing is very cool. A few months ago, my mom and I were driving down the road, and one of these drove past us. And my mom said that the headlights looked like the white Tic Tacs. And now, thanks to her, I can't unsee that. I cannot unsee the fact that they look like white Tic Tacs. That's super funny to me. Cool. Moving on. Rolls Royce Ghost. The Rolls Royce Ghost is like it's the definition of luxury. It's the pinnacle of luxury at its finest. And it's what every rich British person wants when they're looking for a luxury car. You know, someone has made it in life if they own just any kind of Rolls Royce, but yeah, but a Ghost is what everyone wants. What every rich person wants when they made it. When they made it big. And it's not just British people, it's people across the world. They all want Rolls Royces. And a lot of people want Ghosts. Especially in this very gorgeous, like, dark blue color. It's a very cool color. I love that color a lot. It's cool. If I could, I'd actually get a Porsche 911 um, in this color. If I could. Maybe with their paint to sample program, I will. Yes. The Baja. Subaru Baja is, well, it's weird. It's half truck, half, I think it's the Outback that this thing is based upon. It's half truck, half Outback. And a lot of, there's, and these things have kind of a cult following amongst Subaru fans. And I agree with him. This is a very unique truck. They even had a turbocharged version of this thing, which is very cool. Very unique and niche. I mean, look at this thing. Next up, the Tesla Roadster. Tesla Roadster. The only good car they've ever made. Toyota RAV4 EV. They only sold, I think, like 3,000 of these in only in California. Although some people have actually seen these in other states. I think one time I saw a post online of someone seeing one of these in Pennsylvania somehow. I don't even know how the fuck it got there. Probably was maybe the owner of it was just um, was moving across the country because he couldn't afford to live in California anymore. So he's like, you know what? I'm moving to Pennsylvania where I can actually afford housing, so yeah. But anyways, this is a very unique car because they actually used Tesla sourced powertrain or Tesla sourced batteries for these cars, and it's just interesting. It's unique. Out of all the cars they could have chosen to make an EV form of, they chose the RAV4. Well, yeah. Next up, the Volkswagen Phaeton W12. The Volkswagen Phaeton W12 is probably one of the most absurd Volkswagen products of the 2000s because it cost upward of $100,000 when it was new in 2004. These were brand new for 2004, and they cost upward of $100,000 for a Volkswagen. Like, and yet Volkswagen still wonders why it failed. No one wanted to buy a luxury car with a Volkswagen badge on the front and back. No one wanted to buy that. Yet it was one of the only cars on sale at the time that had massaging rear seats. I'm not kidding. And in fact, I think it's one of the only cars ever to have massaging rear seats. It's so absurd to me that some people actually bought one of these. Some people actually bought these. And I don't even remember if I've ever seen one in person. Not even at the local Volkswagen dealership. I mean, the thing is, when I was new, when this thing was new, I was a year old. Yeah, I was a year old when these were new. And, yeah, I mean, even over, like, the course of my life, I haven't ever seen one. And I don't even know if I ever will. At least not in my area. If I go to California, maybe I will. Or if I go to pretty much any other place, I maybe will. But who knows? Moving on to Volvo S60R, specifically in flash green over the Atacama interior color. And, yeah, hold on, I actually have look at this. It looks like it looks like the, Tostitos nacho dip, doesn't it? It looks like they just painted it with that. Like, look at this. It's ridiculous, but I love it. Is there any more? Nope. And I just said, thank you for watching this dumpster fire of a video. Lol. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.